Deep in the Adriatic Sea lies a secret that has remained hidden for nearly 4 centuries.
In 1628, a Venetian merchant vessel vanished during a catastrophic storm.
Today, we make our first approach to what locals call Apollo's treasure ship.
The ship's identity is confirmed. This is the Apollo, lost with all hands aboard.
The vessel shows catastrophic damage from the storm that claimed her.
We enter the cargo hold, where the ship's secrets have remained sealed for centuries.
The crew never escaped Gross. They rest where they fell nearly 400 years ago.
The first cargo container, its contents unknown for almost 4 centuries. Religious treasures looted during the wars, exactly as the legends described. This is only the beginning. The Apollo holds an entire treasury of lost artifacts. Each chalice was crafted for European cathedrals, worth a fortune even in their deteriorated state.
An officer, likely trying to secure cargo as the ship went down.
A sealed container, preserved by the sediment for nearly 4 centuries.
Opening this crate requires extreme care. The contents are fragile and priceless.
Religious artwork, sealed away from the water, hence a miraculous preservation.
Looted from churches across Europe during the religious wars of the 1600s.
The cargo hold is a maze of collapsed structures and scattered treasures.
Personal belongings tell stories of those who sailed aboard the Apollo.
A reliquary designed to hold sacred religious relics.
Marble statues stolen from Italian sanctuaries, too heavy for looters to carry by land.
The crew's wages, payment they would never collect.
An entire collection of altar crosses. The ship carried dozens of sacred items.
The captain's quarters may hold records of the ship's final voyage.
The captain went down with his ship, a naval tradition honored to the end.
The ship's log dummy, if we can preserve it, it may reveal the Apollo's complete story.
Even the captain kept sacred treasures in his personal quarters.
Wine and oil from Mediterranean ports. Provisions for the long voyage.
The merchant's mark confirms this ship was officially sanctioned by Venice.
A monstrance, used to display the Eucharist during Catholic Mass ceremonies.
The helmsman stayed at his post even as the ship went down.
The Apollo was a floating treasury. Express. Every corner reveals more sacred objects.
Altarpieces torn from churches during the religious conflicts of the era.
A priest traveled with the treasure, perhaps to document or protect the sacred cargo.
Gold coins by the thousands, payment for wars that ravaged Europe.
A ceremonial crown, possibly from a deposed noble family.
The ship's bell, cast just 1 year before the Apollo's fateful voyage. Each sealed container is a time capsule from the Renaissance era.
Communion vessels and altar service pieces, stripped from dozens of churches.
Renaissance masterpieces reduced to shadows of their former glory.
Even mundane areas of the ship tell stories of the crew's final moments.
Illuminated manuscripts in golden covers, priceless both as art and as religious texts.
Sculptures broken during the ship's violent descent to the seabed. The largest cargo chest yet, it may contain the most valuable treasures. Reliquaries containing saints' remains, objects of veneration worth fortunes.
A wealthy merchant who likely financed this voyage de survey, he paid the ultimate price.
The crew quarters Coleman's. Many sailors were sleeping when disaster struck.
Eastern Orthodox treasures mixed with Catholic artifacts, looted from across Europe. Navigation tools from the age of exploration tramplins, state-of-the-art in 1628.
Some artifacts are too valuable to examine underwater. They must be raised to the surface.
Records that might reveal the origin and destination of every treasure aboard.
Personal religious items carried by the crew and passengers for protection.
The Apollo was armed. Merchant ships needed protection from pirates and rivals.
Censers swung during high mass. The smell of incense would have filled European cathedrals. Armed guards protected the treasure faft. Even in death, they stand watch.
Gold bullion hidden in secret compartments, the most valuable cargo of all.
Every piece of communion serviceware represents a church that was stripped of its treasures.
Personal treasures belonging to nobility fleeing the wars that engulfed Europe.
Over 40 souls went down with the Apollo phase. All are still aboard.
Crown reliquaries housed the most sacred relics, cestus, bones of martyrs and saints. Every artifact's position is carefully documented before removal. Illuminated Bibles, bound in gold. Each one took scribes years to create.
A nobleman traveling with his fortune face, seeking safety that he would never find.
The ship's mast collapsed inward when the Apollo struck the rocks during the storm.
Processional crosses led faithful through city streets during festivals and holy days. Even utilitarian items carried religious imagery in this deeply faithful era. The ship's identity is confirmed multiple times throughout the wreck.
Tabernacle doors guarded the most sacred elements in Catholic churches.
Navigation instruments that failed to save the ship from the storm's fury. The ship had its own chapel. Faith was central to life aboard 17th century vessels.
Maker's marks may help identify which churches these treasures were stolen from.
Altar service pieces by the dozens then. The Apollo carried an entire cathedral's worth of treasures.
The recovery operation will take months to retrieve everything the Apollo holds. Even the smallest containers were crafted with extraordinary skill and precious materials.
The navigator tried to chart a course through the storm. His calculations failed. The ship's treasury held the most valuable pieces. Even armed guards couldn't protect it from the sea.
crowns of nobility fleeing political upheaval, symbols of power now lost beneath the waves.
Even functional ship fixtures were crafted as works of art in this era.
We've only explored half the ship. Countless treasures still remain hidden.
Sanctuary lamps burned continuously before altars, symbols of God's eternal presence.
A monk who prayed as the ship went down to rise. Faith sustained him to the very end.
The fatal breach that doomed the Apollo and all aboard. The Gospel book covers worth fortunes. Each gemstone alone could buy a house in Venice.
Altar candlesticks that once illuminated masses in grand European cathedrals. The Apollo carried enough religious treasures to fill multiple museums.
Ciboria held the consecrated host, the finfin, the most sacred element in Catholic ritual.
Not all aboard were sailors. Some were refugees carrying their family fortunes. Beyond the treasures, the ship reveals details of daily life in the 1600s. A bishop's pectoral cross, perhaps a high-ranking church official, traveled aboard.
Complete sets of altar service pieces suggest entire churches were stripped of their contents.
Documentation is crucial, Cruvies. Each artifact's context tells part of the Apollo's story.
Each artifact must be carefully preserved for the journey to the surface.
We leave the Apollo's crew to their eternal rest. Their story will finally be told.
After centuries of silence, the Apollo's treasures will see daylight once again.
Sacred treasures returning from the depths, artifacts of faith, war, and tragedy.
The Apollo will remain on the seabed, a memorial to those who perished.
400 years after it sank, the Apollo's story emerges from the depths.
The Apollo's treasure ship, a window into a turbulent era when faith, greed, and war collided on the high seas.